Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Welcome back to this explainer, everyone. Today, we're embarking on a really profound, almost meditative journey. We're going to bridge the deeply intimate space of the inner physical brain straight out to the vast, infinite expanse of the universe. Based on the incredible materials provided in the teachings, we're diving into the absolute mechanics of our energy, our existence, and how we physically plug into the cosmos. So settle in, get focused, and let's explore the true architecture of our reality.
Let's kick things off with a pretty profound thought straight from the teachings, just to set the tone for this exploration. The quote is, "I made man in the image of myself. Intelligence, justice, love." Now you have to understand, this isn't just nice poetry, right? It's actually a literal structural blueprint. Because as we'll see today, the very essence of this intelligence and justice governs not just human morality, but the literal hard physics of how our bodies interact with the stars.
Phase 1, the cosmic blueprint within. Okay, so let's get our core definitions straight. The foundation defines the soul of the man, or the STM, as the true central energy control hub connecting us to the universe. Conventional science, it focuses heavily on the physical brain, but the teachings show us the brain is merely the physical control center. The soul is the energy control center. On the flip side, you have the spirit of physicality, or STP. That's the mechanism that takes this absorbed cosmic energy and actually converts it into physical matter, literally creating your muscle tissue, your bones, and your limbs.
Now, picture this. The soul acts exactly like a planetary core, sitting deep down inside the center of your brain. The physical form you have, your legs, the way you stand, is actually determined by these magnetic gravitational field lines stretching downward. The soul is pulling these fields down, interacting with Earth's gravity and inertia. It is quite literally shaping our physical bodies based on our exact distance from the Earth's core.
And here is where it gets incredibly mind-bending. This reveals a totally fractal reality. because this core energy structure doesn't just exist that one time in the center of the brain. According to the teachings, every single cell in your body possesses its very own individual soul and energy center. The local spatial position of each tiny cellular soul, how it interacts with its immediate environment and the planet's pull, that dictates the exact physical form of our internal organs. It's molding the precise shape of your liver, your kidneys, your lungs. It's an entire universe inside you. But here's the absolute kicker: 80%. We constantly think our physical bodies are powered entirely by the physical food we eat here on Earth, right? Well, the Foundation reveals that a massive 80% of our vital energy is actually absorbed directly from the universal environment and cosmic space, not from our diet. Our physical life is essentially an ongoing process of fueling reactors to accumulate field energy. Moving on to Phase 2, sleep as a cosmic rehearsal. This completely reframes something humanity has feared for millennia. The teachings redefine what we actually call physical death. Death is simply an involuntary anti-gravity state. It's just the moment the physical body finally gathers enough energy to reverse its relationship with gravity and detach the soul. This is a heavy contrast with transmutation, which is a voluntary balancing of these fields. Transmutation allows the central energy of the soul to be totally free to access any dimension in the universe without losing the physical body. And the fascinating thing is, we practice this separation every single night. Sleep is quite literally a cosmic rehearsal. When we sleep, the energy balances out between our physicality and our soul, allowing the soul to travel on its own energetic track. But it maintains a vital energetic anchor tied right back to our sleeping physical body. So we are basically early learners, practicing this energetic detachment for decades of our lives. Which brings us to a really striking, almost surreal metaphor from the teachings regarding why suicide is strictly forbidden. The quote says, "It's just sending a man with one leg out to do a marathon race. It violently ejects an immature, partially made soul out into space way before it's finished gathering the universal energies it needs for the journey. The physical vessel absolutely must mature fully, starting from the exact minute the soul is created in the womb, just to prep for this eventual cosmic takeoff." All right, Phase 3, GANs and the plasma state. You know how modern science claims that at absolute zero, minus 273 degrees Celsius, everything freezes and all physical motion just completely stops? Well, the Foundation reveals the other half of physics. While physical matter certainly freezes, magnetic fields carry on entirely independent of temperature. The universe is completely full of places way colder than absolute zero, and the energetic fields of creation just continue to flow and feed life completely unhindered. We can actually see a real-world example of this principle right here in our own oceans. Think about the organisms thriving in the most extreme ocean depths. They don't need light, they don't need massive physical pressure-resistant shells. How? Because they possess a GANs, or gas in a nanostate body. They function purely on these indestructible magnetic gravitational fields, completely independent of the intense environmental pressure and the freezing cold. Now, take that concept back to us. Because the human soul is a magnetic field, it has no matter state, it's completely unaffected by temperature. So through voluntary transmutation, the soul can expand to completely envelop the physical body. By shielding the physical matter within the soul's field, it detaches from Earth's gravity. That allows for instantaneous travel to the moon, Mars, anywhere, bypassing physical speed limits entirely and just traveling at the speed of the fields. Finally, Phase 4, the macrocosmos and the ethos of Mitra. This is where we see the ultimate fractal nature of creation on a massive scale. It's beautifully surreal to realize that the macrocosmos perfectly mirrors our own inner biology.
Galaxies and solar systems literally have internal organs. Star clusters function as specific cosmic organs, like kidneys, filtering excess cosmic elements right out of the blood of the universe. And exactly like us, our solar system absorbs 80% of its energy directly from the external galactic environment. It's all connected. So, to safely navigate this vast interconnected cosmic biology, one must follow a very specific moral geometry. The teachings call this the ethos of Mithra. It's a profound yet incredibly simple three-step path of absolute integrity. Talk good, think good, and act good. And listen, this isn't just a gentle philosophical guideline. It's mechanics. Because every single thought, word, and action you take creates an energetic field that interacts directly with your soul's trajectory. So, what actually happens when we deviate from this ethos? Lying isn't just a social faux pas. It literally has energetic physics attached to it. When you lie, it creates a discordant energetic field that acts exactly like a jet fire thruster on an aircraft. It physically pushes and violently diverts your soul completely off its true direct course toward the Creator. It's literal turbulence. Well, we've traveled from the deepest center of the human brain all the way to the edges of the universe today. So I want to leave you with this final thought to really contemplate. Have you established complete balance between your soul and your physical body to instantly reach the heart of the Creator? Take a moment. Let that linger. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope it sparks a new harmony within your own wondrous, expanding universe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 655th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, August 13th, 2026. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Cremond. I'll be your host once again in this weekly series of workshops. And once again, of course, we are joined with Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who will be explaining and teaching today, and I believe he's ready to go. So please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all day to you, as usual. Wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, we welcome you back. And the same way, same process, we try to add to the knowledge. In the past weeks, we have entered into a dimension of how we interact and how the fields of the universe interact with us and how we are part of the cosmic ray. If we follow on the same basis, again today we unravel new knowledge, unknown to the world of science, and gradually this becomes part of the world of knowledge. The same we did with the black hole some 20 odd years ago, and now the theory and the principle published in the black hole, creation of black hole paper, which was stolen by Stephen Hawking, now has become a common knowledge. We see videos, we see teachings that now they explain how the field now comes out of the what we call the black hole, and now is acceptable. So we are 20 years, 30 years ahead of the world of science. And we've seen it, how it's done, how we brought the nanotechnology, how what we call, when we spoke about the new type of nano-material, we became criminal, and now is the language of every what you call scientific organization. When we proposed the creation of specific diamond structure of carbon, this was pinpointed by the King of Belgium as a terrorist organization because we use gamma rays and we are Iranian nuclear physicists. And we saw how all this has hit what we call the fan. And now nobody comes to apologize. It's become part of the knowledge. Today's knowledge will change the course of man the same way. In time, you will see a lot of research on it because world of science listens to these technologies. World of science finds solution in what is taught. Today's teaching is very fundamental. The fundamental thing, part of it, is how your soul is connected to your soul of physicality, what we call the spirits of the man. How do we got it all connected without knowing within the physical structure of the man? What does this mean? We call the body of the man working on two systems, matter state and energy state. Energy state, we call it the lymph. The matter state, we call it the blood circulation. And where these meet a current, or what we call energy balance of a fusing section, then it becomes a matter part, instead of the skin of the man and the rest of it. And when it's one-sided, it creates a boundary. If you look at the structure of the vein of the man and the lymph of the man, and what we call the lymph pipes, I call them the veins, and neural system, you see how, when the world of science looks, where the nerve moves and where the blood vessels move and when the limbs move dictates the boundary. In a way, we see blood vessels going all over the body. We see nerve lines going everywhere, and we see the limbs, which are everywhere. But if you look at it, they create that layer of dimension. This, if, for example, you have the lymph on the top end, or what we just see, which bleeds when we cut ourselves the liquid, white liquid, then the nerve or the blood behind it, this shows the boundary of the skin. This is where the skin is going to be. If now the blood vessel is closer to the, let's say, bone, and then you have the lymph system, and then you have the nerve system, this shows the boundary of, for example, bones, but in a specific condition. So now you understand how things played. We just see, we open the chicken, we open the body of a lamb, and we just pull the wings out, we pull the nerves out, and we say this is what it is. Our scientists never looked at the positioning. The most crucial thing in how the boundaries are dictated is by the position of the nerves and the blood vessels. When you look at the structure of the blood vessels, when you look at the structure of the nerve, when you look at the structure of the lymph, then you see by just looking at it, if we put it in three-dimensional and look at it as a transparent unit, we see, this is how bone is decided to be. This is how vessels of the lung is supposed to be, how chest bones are created, how everything else can be explained. But there is one step behind this, which has never been understood, and it'll change the world of science. It's changed the world of what we call physiology and the chemistry of the body of the man and physics of the body of the man. Up to now, we say we have a soul. Soul is to do with the energy which comes from outside. We call what we have as what we call as the science of the neurosystem. We find as the science of what we understand to be part of the structure of the future of the man, which is what we call the spirit of the man. What happens to the spirit of the man? How does the spirit of the man connect to the soul of the man? Where we know the spirit is connected to the heart, it's connected to blood vessels. And then we know that what neurosystem is connected to the soul of the man. And then we understand the connection where the matter state comes is where the lymph manifests itself. How does what we call the spirit of the man, which is in the blood system of the man, connects to the soul of the man? It's very interesting. If you listen to the scientific world of today, which up to now, nobody, because we don't look at the energy side, we never consider that we absorb 80% of our energy from our environment, is how does the lymph mixes with the blood? Why you go and you take your blood pressure, it says 120/8. When it's empty, the heart empty is 8. It is all rubbish. Because that 8, that lower level, is the strength that the lymph is pulled into the blood vessels. Our body uses the lymph to its maximum. When it becomes to the point that it reaches a balance of the energy, on the upper side of our two shoulders, the lymph feeds into the blood vessel. This is where your immune system comes in. So in a way, the dimension of the physicality merges into the spirit of the man. This is how the structure changes. And then that lower pressure is what actually pulls the lymph to become part of the physicality, which is absorbed by the soul of the man's energy. And once we understand this, once we comprehend that now the lymph, in combination with the blood of the man on the top of the shoulders, where the lung is, where the energy of the atmosphere is mixed, comes into the blood vessels and now goes to the heart, then we understand something very, very simple. The energy of the heart of the man, what it releases. If you look at your heartbeat, listen to your heartbeat. Oh, it's 80 beats a minute. That's not it. Your heartbeat is not 80 beats, 80 heartbeats. Sometimes it's 82, sometimes it's 84, sometimes it's 60, sometimes it's 100. But when you look at the children, they have 120, 150. This is not important. What is important for us to understand is what each bit releases energy, which is absorbed by the body. Look at your condition of it. Your beat, space of your beat changes by emotion. You get excited, the heartbeat goes up, the gaps reduces. But this energy which is released by that beat is not just a heartbeat. It's a magnetic field which a heart releases. And that magnetic field sets the condition for the whole structure of the body of the man. You get frightened. You get angry with your child. You do all sorts of things, and your body composition and the beat changes, and that beat change, if you wish death into it, you wish you were dead in that breath, in that gap between the number 60 beat and 61, it imprints into the soul, imprints into the physicality, imprints into you getting MS in the future, getting ILS immediately. So when the doctors, now they look in the physiology, doctors, if they look in the beat of the man, the gap between the beats, and they find out there's a gap in there which commands the death code, commands the wish of dying. There's a there which demands or commands the gap between number 62 and 64 now is 8 millisecond gap. Next beat, the same count is 2 milliseconds. And that 2 milliseconds is so impact that affects the lymph which is carried in the blood to connect to the lymph which is outside, which is not joined the spirit of the man to create cancer, to create death code, to create, as it circulates around the body of the man, it says to every cell, switch off. It's time to die. This is how our life is dictated through the connection of the magnetic field of the heart of the man, which what we call the position of the heart is just because it's a more mass collection of the same liquid, which controls the physiology of what we call the spirit of the man. And interesting enough, if the scientists check, and we have done check, many scientific work has been done on this, is that the heart sends more information, more magnetic field to the soul of the man than actually the soul sends to the heart of the man. I'm here. I collect everything. And this is why when those space gaps between the heartbeat changes because of your anger, because of the stress, changes the energy release in what we call from the heart to the brain or to the soul of the man, which causes you the brain hemorrhages, creates your paralysis, it creates your tumors. When the energy cannot be handled as a higher order that the soul of the man sends or receives, dictates if we have different kind of diseases. But if we manage to control the heartbeat, the gap between the heartbeat, the structure of the heartbeat, if we can control that, then we can condition ourselves into transmutation. You create the emotion of detachment from the physicality condition of the planet Earth, from the physical condition of anywhere in the universe. Then we become part of the structure of the soul, energy pack, which the physicality has no control. Once man understands this and how to control it, then man will be able to transmute across the universe. You do not need jumbo jets, you do not need Keshe Foundation transmutation system. But how does this work? How do we absorb energy? We can balance it, we can regulate it, and go back to the teaching of past couple of 2 or 3 years. And I've said that before, with your breathing, how you breathe. You have to understand the psychology behind breathing. When you breathe, it's not just the breath. When you breathe in, you take energy. When you breathe out, you release energy. With breathing in, you take the universe inside you. When you breathe out, you give to universe what you don't need. One is creating excitement and life, and the second gives life back too. And when you can control the rate of the breathing to the rate of what we call exhale, and then the gap between these two, you can control everything. Man has taken breathing as a normal thing. I just breathe. I woke up, I wake up. Why do the child cries when it's born into this world? Why Do we go through that tension of the going through the what we call the first passage or through the birth tunnel to cause us to change? We need it as a mammals because we carry in a certain way the spirit of the soul. We go through it. Chickens does it different way when he makes the first hole in the what we call in the eggshell. We all have to understand what and how we connect to the energies of the universe, and we have not understood this. So, as knowledge seekers, as the future scientists understand, when your lymph joins your blood circulation in the upper body of the man, where is the longest? That's why it's positioned in that way. Read, go into the physiology, go into the science of the physics of the man, you'll find the two wings which join into the blood circulation of the man on the upper shoulder, over the breath, over the lung of the man. It doesn't join it at the bottom of your leg, it doesn't join it on your head. It joins where the energy of the lung, which is connected to the dimension of the what the universe gives you free, is connected to. Then you understand, if you take this a step further, you understand that the world of the creation does not need a lung. If you can create the dimension of the circulation where one pump, as the man has, connects to the dimension of the inner structure of the man, does not need to be blood circulation. You can cut many aliens to you and they won't bleed a thing, because they have transferred, they have transformed in evolution of their life into a higher order transfer of energies than the liquids. The same channels, we see these magnetic field channels from one galaxy to another. We see between the planetary system. Do we see blood in it? If we cut a galaxy, do we see it bleeding? No, it has learned to use the energetic channels of the magnetic field to sustain its structure. Section which disposes, sections which stores, sections which creates distance, sections which create boundary. We do the same. Do we need the blood circulation? Do we need the lymph circulation? No. In the same process we see in the world of the universe. If you look at the highest current, biggest falls, what we say Niagara Fall or Victoria Fall, are the biggest in the world of creation of the earth? No. The biggest falls are kilometers in the depth of the ocean. When one current moves to the other, it heats it up, it transfers energy across. And then we understand we do not need blood vessels. We do not need to transfer energy of the spirit of the man to the soul of the man and vice versa through any combination, because we look at it physically up to now, but to look at the magnetic field of the body of the man. If you put the body of the man on a magnetic field scanner, as I said before, temperature doesn't come into it, pressure doesn't come into it. You will see that the heart of the man is a huge volcanic eruption, which takes the field from the bottom of the body of the man and any surface on the top and pushes it through this fountain as a magnetic field, not a blood flow, into the soul of the man, and then it connects with the soul in a dimension of lower energy. Then you see how even the life cycle of the man has decided. When the heart gets weak, when it gets old, this volcanic eruption cannot reach the soul. The separation comes. The soul and the what we call spirit of the man separate, because there's not enough energy in the heart of the man to create that volcanic magnetic field energy to continuously feed the soul. I cannot do. We separate. And that's where we stop taking food. We stop going through the process of death, as I explained before. Then we understand how we can create that separation with the soul of the planet, how we can create what we call detachment, how we can create a life in a dimension that up to now we looked at its physicality. Now we have to look at its dimension of energy, magnetic field. This is what it goes back again to what we call the creation of black hole. The heart of the man is that black hole. where it pulls everything in. And in getting in, it releases fields which invisible to us, but it feeds the soul of the man and the strength which the soul is connected to. We cannot feed the soul with a chicken and what we call kebab or a Coca-Cola. It feeds from the fields, it feeds from the magnetic field. It lives by the interaction of the essence of the world of the creation. Would the time come when the man controls his emotion through the magnetic field of the body of the man without the circulation of the liquid? This is the time when we become man of space, when we don't need blood, when we don't need anything to be able to survive, to cross the strength of the universe and to live in every dimension. We can do this if man learns how by breathing, if man learns how by controlling the rate of the breathing, how man controls the emotion by the rate of breathing, then you can see what it does. And then you understand even how we become alcoholic, we become drug addicts. Because that drug, that alcohol, in the dimension of the energy which creates, allows the separation or amalgamation of the soul energy with the physicality of the man, which becomes no need. Now I work in the dimension of the emotion of me without attachment to the what we call the physicality of the body of the man. If, as I always say, you knowledge seekers and the world of science understand the teaching of this morning, it'll be so easy for you to take another step towards the dimension of transmutation, living without need for any energy. You change the rate of the breathing, you change the rate of the flow of the energy from the lymph to what we call the physicality of the man, which is the blood of the man, and then you change the emotion, and then you understand you can separate, change the gap between the soul and the soul of physicality, where the soul takes over the dimension of the physicality, and now is the magnetic positioning of the field, the strength of the soul of the man and the planet. You transmuted. Our ancestors used to do this. Many races in the universe do this. But we have to master this knowledge of the emotion with the breathing, which is detached from the dimension of the physical matter of this state. This is why when they call it hyperventilation, you go dizzy, you get different conditions, you absorb different energies. It's something which we have not been taught. And anybody who start teaching these has been tabooed because now they cannot control you because in dimension of physicality they do. If the knowledge seekers and the conditions we create, especially with the upcoming in ONNs that will release energies at a certain strength magnetic field, that with an app, your mobile phone is just a tool to connect us, our central control, to you, that you can develop energies, understanding fields of emotion, which I said many emotions man doesn't know. Emotion of transmutation is something that you as knowledge seekers we yearn for, humanity yearn for, and we gradually learn it. We learn the emotion of love. We learn that emotion of love changes when we are a child to the mother, to the father, then the teacher and the lover, and then becoming your own child in your own hand. I want to be detached from the earth. I want to be in a dimension of space. That was the love of the mother. Now you learn another. How can we learn the emotion of love, but we have never learned the emotion of transmutation, detachment? Depends what word you put to it, how you explain it. And then we understand man is getting ready to reach that point. But this time, every man on this planet can learn. It's not exclusivity of those who make temples and rob the people, and it's not exclusivity of those who make guns and kill the people. It becomes what we call independently from everything else man does, but I decide I want to be on Earth today, and I want to be on the moon tomorrow, but I still carry the emotion of belonging to Earth. I return back. As I said, what's the pleasure of going into the moon and still being in a spacesuit or be locked in a building that creates the condition of gravity of the Earth that you can survive? You have to bring that structure which you created, the condition of Earth, pressure, or whatever, into the body of the man, inside the physicality of the man. Then do you need a monkey suit? Do you need the skin of the man? Or do you transfer the energy, which we call the energy of the skin of the man, or in what we call our solar system, the land of fire and the boundaries of the what we call our galaxy or solar system, then we see the same. Penetrable, but acceptable, livable. This, what we call the skin of the man, is not the only boundary made for one entity. Our solar system has one. Our, what we call planet, has the same. Anything comes into it, we saw last night, was one of the highest rates for a couple of decades, 100 meteorites a day, now, going through the atmosphere of the Earth. You could see it from anywhere in the world. It's like you're walking through a field with a bunch of what we call needles and whatever thrown at you. If it hits you, you feel the pain. If it hits our Earth, you see the light. There's no difference. But we feel the pain. What is the emotion of the Earth when all these meteorites hit the Earth? If it's a living being, has an effect on it, same as with us. What is the condition of the creation? There's no difference between every structure of their life, be it an atom, be it an electron, be it a man, be it a galaxy, be it universe. Now you understand. If the world of science understands the physiology of the man, you have a whole structure to understand how the universe works. As long as you work, understand the structure of the fields and not the matter state. Because once the structure of the field reaches imbalance with the matter state, you disappear. You become totality of the field. This is the beauty of it. This is why when they burn the body of the man, we get hardly any, because not much has been transferred into matter state. Most of it, the world of science says 98% of our body is water. 98% of our body is a dynamic, plasmatic, magnetic field in motion, not just water. Even if we listen to the new science, new technologies which is coming up, even the water itself is made of two liquids which cannot mix. That's why matter state of the water has such a complicated understanding for man. And it takes different shapes and dimensions in different states of the matter state, fields and pressure and temperature. It has to be understood. If you are a plasma physicist, if you understand the world of the plasma and you understand the work of the universe, there is a big difference between the temperature and heat. Your temperature can be 1 million, but the heat is 10 degrees. And this is what they don't teach our students in the world of the education of today. In the world of matter, temperature, and what we call heat are related near enough. So we always calculate, okay, this has got 100 degrees and it's hot. In the space, in the world of plasma, you can be 1 million meter and still be ice cold. Because it's the motion of magnetic field. This is how animals live in the depth of the universe, in our planetary system, in the depth of the oceans. And NASA gives us pictures, minus 100 degrees, 200 degrees, so many kilometers above the Earth, as we've seen from satellites, or from what we call other side of this planet, we see life moving like nothing. This is one of the fundamental points in the world of creation, that in the matter state, the heat and the temperature are interrelated. Because they're so close to each other, we say, oh, when it's hot, it's 100 degrees. But in fact, in the polar plasma, it doesn't exist such a thing. And then when we see it, we don't understand it. Says, oh, it's amazing. Because if you understand the world of the plasma, it depends if you get heated and depends if your expansion of the fields allow you to feel the temperature. This is one of the biggest questions in the world of the astronomy, and we had two what we call units which left this solar system. They went into the what we call out of the solar system, and everybody says, oh, this belt, they're going to be burned. But those scientists who tell you that nobody can cross these things, and it's a lot of rubbish they're talking, nobody has left this planet, is that those people who have not understood the world of science, the world of creation. The world of creation works in magnetic field in the plasma condition. And in the world of the plasma, heat has no relationship to the temperature. There are two different entities. There are two different things. It looks hot and burning, but it depends if you have something which is so small, and then those things which create the heat, those, what we saw last night, those meteorites, what created all these, what we saw, the shining things, did they heat the Earth up? But at the point of their interaction, they had a high temperature. This is one of the biggest things that man has to move into. In quantum physics, they call it, what became originally as what we call plasma physics, is that we have to understand these differences. And our scientists have not understand. And then those who come up with and explain this, oh, they're ridiculed, because those who ridicule, it shows they never understood. Actually, they are the ignorant. And for them to show their ignorance, somebody else's. It's a typical, what I call, British mentality. Show me to believe it. No, you understand because you're an idiot. You have never understood. You lack understanding the world of creation. And this is what needs to be changed in the world of science and education of today. Anybody ridicules you, this is against the law of physics. This is your physics because that's the limit you understand. This is how ignorant you are to the full process of the creation. Now, show me for me to believe, you have to prove. No, you add to your knowledge that you understand what I'm talking about. This is what has brought man to the position of today, and the education system has to change. That we accept this is what it is, I have to understand it. No, it cannot be unless I say so. We sat there with the most eminent academician in the world of science of China. Nobody is above this gentleman in the world of science in China. When it comes to rare earth material, President Xi of China swears on this gentleman. He sat in front of us. The minute we explained creation of matter, the only thing he could say for 5 minutes to the generals of Chinese army was, "Buche, buche, buche. No, this is lie. This is lie. I'm an academician. I'm the world's eminent scientist in the world of rare earth material." He talks rubbish. What happened? President Xi, with his insight and all the knowledge, what we call they had, Chinese military said, he says cannot be done, he says he can. Take him to the mountains and let him do. We went for 1 week with the knowledge seekers in the mountains with the 3 generals with the Chinese army. We produced gold. We showed that the matter is unconditioned to the atmospheric condition of this planet. What happened? When he came back, the guy cheated. He destroyed the evidence of production of 2 materials, which was imminent. He hasn't produced these, but they were blank in the chart. Then we showed that for him to keep his eminence, he had to lie because he couldn't comprehend the world of science that moved forward. And what was the outcome? Keshe technology does not need academician to prove it. It works on its own merit. We don't need to approve anything. This is why we placed ourselves in China, because we don't need to approve anything. We work on our own limit. We work on our thing because you, as knowledge seekers, have been brought up to understand. Most of you, when you talk to the ordinary people, Keshe technology is rubbish. No, you don't understand because you've been brought up with a matter state. Your knowledge is good for matter. Your knowledge is good for energy. And then you understand how everything is connected to each other. How, as knowledge seekers, you have not to just push with your knowledge what you learned today, that how the soul is connected to the spirit of the man. You explain scientifically. And then what it is, you've done your job. You understood. But the most important part is how you apply this to yourself to become man of universe. How you understand this to become what we call in a position to be transmute. How you control your emotion, how you control your breathing, how you change direction of the sound to create dimension of creation. The sound of the universe in this corner where we are, where our solar system is, where our Earth is, where we are, is not the same as the sound in other points of the universe, because that sound in that part creates specific materials because it's the resonance transmutation to transfer of energy to matter state, which means that sound in that point of the universe allows only, for example, carbon 10 to become matter state, not carbon 12, which we are used to. If we go there, we cannot exist. We become energy. Then we understand, even in the teaching of the last week and the week before, what I tried to bring you, we have to understand the totality of knowledge as a holistic science, not at what it feeds us, and we understand. And this has been the backbone of the teaching of the Keshe Foundation. As you knowledge seekers, you become holistic. You understand the matter state, you understand the energy, you understand the connection between the energy and matter, and how sounds plays, what frequency plays, what pulses play. And when you understand all this, you hear the sound of the creator, the sound of the creation, because then it's all the same, silent. The world of Mitra, you cannot talk. When you don't talk, you cannot talk back, you cannot think back, you cannot do bad. So you end up with one thing, create what is the best of, which is the world of the creation that our Creator has created. Then we understand how close we are to our Creator and how far we as human beings have positioned ourselves to be far because we are attached to the dimension of physicality, not in the dimension of the creation. Then those who understand a little bit of this play the game of the devil. And what we call, they become the advocates of the crime, to separate the soul of the man from the soul of the creator with all the rubbish we seen in the textbooks of the religions. No religious book has ever written, has ever been done, which brings the soul of the man close to the soul of the creator. All religions separate the soul of the man from the world of the creator to be able to abuse the physicality of the man. Now you understand how you, as knowledge seekers, can become even the teachers of those who you call aliens, and in the time to come, the soul of the man meets in the dimension of the creation of the creator. One day, mankind will understand the teaching of today, and they understand what has been unraveled in the world of the creation of the creator, not in the dimension of the physicality of the man. And anyone ever tells you this is rubbish, say yes, rubbish, because you don't understand. Even, you know something, a madman always claims everybody else is mad, that he can confirm he's okay. And you're that man. You can stay that madman as long as you want to be. Add to your knowledge, and then you see what I see. And then you see that even I don't see the whole lot, but I try to understand the totality. If the mankind understands the connection between the lymph, the blood of the man, the heart of the man, and how lymph, when he enters the dimension of physicality, transferring the energy of the universe into the bloodstream of the man, then man will understand how he can transmute using the same system in the reverse composition. What does this mean? Is that we absorb from our skin the energy of the universe. With our neural system, we convert that in the matter state of the lymph condition. And then when it's absorbed by the lymph, we feed it back into the blood vessels of the man to the dimension of physicality. Our physicality is saturated with the energies of the universe, which are absorbed by the skin crossing into our lymph, which then through 2 points on top of your shoulders is fed back into your blood. So now you understand how you can convert that and through the blood in a way with a lower field strength and a higher neural system create the body of the man. But does the man need that to be in the dimension of physicality, or would be able to point comes that we can transfer the energy of the physicality to energy of life without condition of the place, time, position, and possession. Now you understand how close you are and how your spirit is connected to your soul, because the soul of the man attracts the fields of the universe, fits it through your skin to your lymph. Lymph joins the physicality of the man through the blood circulation, and then it becomes part of you. The question is, can you change the strength of the field of your soul, or absorption of the fields that die shall not kill? That you can absorb the energies which joins into your blood vessels through the lymph, through the upper part of the body of the man to feed the man. Then do you need the digestion system? Do you need to kill to live? But you learn to absorb the energy and feed the physicality with it. Then the soul of the man exists, the spirit of the man exists, and man does not need to kill. I have unraveled the secret of the creation from the creator to you as a human being. I hope you understand. And then I hope mankind will move in the dimension to understand how he can exist across the universe without killing, without destroying, but become a source to absorb what the universe does not need, to generate it into a flower of the soul of the man, to become the essence of the creation in your universe, to become the seed of light, to become the seed of a star. We are messengers, and we are the teachers, and we teach the truth about the life cycle in the universe, and not what those who want to cheat man to get involved in. As Muhammad said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the beginning and this is the end. It's for man to understand. We go for a break. We come back to answer any of your questions. Rick, can you take us for a break, please?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. Well, that's our teaching for today's 655th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. We'll have a break and listen to one of the Keshe Coin videos. And after the break, there'll be an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. And folks here in the Zoom can put up their virtual hand and be able, we can open your microphone so you can speak. And you can also put questions in the Q&A or in the chat in YouTube. Okay, let me just get this video teed up. And this will be what's called the Keshe Coin number 4. There's 5 different, 6 in total, Keshe Coin videos that have come out in the last month or two. And they are available now as part of the Keshe Coin playlist on the Keshe Foundation YouTube channel. Okay, let me share that now.
Across the world, brilliant minds are waiting. Students with dreams, ideas, and intelligence. Students with dreams, ideas, and intelligence, but without the tools, guidance, and support to rise. In poor countries, in forgotten communities, across continents and cultures, talent is not missing. Opportunity is missing. Keshe Coin is here to change that. Keshe Coin is introduced as a digital currency for a greater mission. 1,000 Keshe Coins with each coin valued internally at 1,000 euros. The path to a dignified life is opened. Access to food, healthcare, and growth can be guaranteed. Through the online peace game, people can participate in a new global movement. Receive cash coin as part of your contribution to peace learning and collective progress. This is not about speculation, it is about education, cooperation, and building a better world. Those who physically purchase and operate the official device can also receive Keshe coin, expanding the global network in recognition of their support for this worldwide digital ecosystem. The support model of Keshe coin is designed to be anchored in physical gold and company equity. It is backed by the knowledge, technologies, and achievements of the Keshe Foundation. With this support, students who once had no path can be guided, protected, and supported. From training to practical application, their future is secured until their journey is complete. From limitation to knowledge, from uncertainty to dignity, from isolation to a future shared by all humanity. One nation, one planet, one race. When knowledge is supported, when talent is protected, and when humanity is connected through peace, a new future becomes possible. A future where no brilliant student is left behind. A future where technology serves human dignity. When humanity lives in dignity and peace, the soul can elevate. With an elevated soul, humanity can look beyond survival. A future where the human soul can rise beyond struggle and begin to look toward the stars, toward the depths of space, the understanding of existence, and the mystery of creation. Keshe coin, for peace, knowledge, and the elevation of humanity.
Okay, we're back again at the 655th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, August 13th. And as expected, we will have a second part here with questions. But before we begin the questions, Mr. Keshe will have some answers. So please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
One would like me to answer.
Well, you usually have some answers to the questions that we didn't even know we had first, and then we have our questions that are more our regular questions. So you usually have something to say before we begin that.
Yeah, thank you very much. There's not much to be said this time. Opponents are getting their position across the planet. Hopefully by the end of this, what we call month, all the ones which we were expecting, some nearly 30 will be positioned across the world. Some 10, 12 of them, 13 of them now are already in position and will complete. It's just a matter of postage to get into. And one by one, those of you who received the system, you have connected to the system for us. I mean, thank you very much. And hopefully, once we see all the problems sorted as much as we could at this phase, then the first 100 in September, October will be released. That the next cycle of your knowledge seekers will receive. Again, we try to spread as much as we can across the planet, that we can support the distribution of the Keshe coin and entering the next phase by October, that all of you, or most of you, can access to be able to work and exchange cash coin within the structure of the Keshe Foundation. One thing which has to be said, many of you are sending us your QR codes. What we need, we'll send a questionnaire to our system to all of you in the next few days once everything is set up. First of all, you need to have the registration with the Keshe Foundation Association AT. Then you have to have the registration with what we call the game, and through there to be connected to the Keshe coin. Then the only way you receive your coin is that you just send me, this is my tax number. Who do you pay this to? Your tax number is relevant to us. Which country, which tax office, which government? That we can target it directly to that position. Many of you have sent me a tax, this is my tax number. Is number 34 in China. No street address, no city address. How do I find number 34? There's millions of them. And this is what you're doing. We try to bring you to understand. We need every detail, which government, which tax office, that when we send to the government, this is the 100 coins for this person who's joined the Keshe Foundation, then we can allocate, we can transfer. The other point is you only registered yourselves. What happened to your children? Or is it just you're ashamed to say, I've done this, or you get your wife to be done? Try to cross that line. Ask people to register themselves and bring them in to register your children. This is the asset you invest for them. And this is a step by step we try to do, hopefully by the end of September, that we just don't look for me. It has to be us. And even the wife says to you, you're stupid, you joined the Keshe Foundation, it's all lies. Says, can you ignore 30,000 for this year? Just do it. Maybe next year you have. No women has ever refused money, even the men. The same issue. Lock yourself to it because you become eligible from the day you sign, not for the year you sign. So if you miss a month, you missed this one. If you go 6 months, you missed 15 coins and the rest of it. Now we have to understand how it is that when it comes into operation from the day you join, what is left for that year is allocated to you. The other point, which has to be understood by knowledge seekers, be prepared for a huge change in the structure of the Keshe Foundation, in how you interact with us when the whole structure of the website, the shops, and the products suddenly hit you in the next few months. How you do, how you react, how you interact with buying and selling your goods. If you're a marketeer or you got a factory, you can send your goods as on whatever had to be the Keshe Foundation because you join us. You want to expand your goods to be sold within the structure of the Keshe Foundation because you registered your company into it. Then you allow you to accept cash coins, and then you can trade into it with yourself and with the others and create that condition of what we call working capitals for the others to learn and work with. We have entered what we call the interaction with the governments, interaction with public. So in the next couple of months, when everything is done with the team up there, what we call backing us up with the coins and the structure of the games, we try to bring that change. And in a way, as a politician told me very recently, Mr. Keshe, I understood and understand one thing. You have a snooker at the world of politics. You have a snooker in the banking system. And nobody realizes, unless now that you put it in, nobody needs to answer to no government. Nobody needs to fight for no government. Nobody needs to go out to destroy for no government. And it all becomes to build the future. And according to this politician, I want to be out of the world of politics because there was no more politics left. The way you have planned and you're executing the whole structure of the Keshe Foundation and one world, one peace, and it'll bring a lot of changes. Now, we've done the work. The team of the Keshe Foundation is working in the background to bring that condition. Now, as you are the soldiers, to take it to the ground. And you are the soldiers that we gave you the same condition as everybody else. As I explained to our knowledge seekers in the working in the Space Center, something very simple. We'll get the people to ask for the coin. By the way, is their own weakness of work. What it means, very soon, in the next couple of months or so, Keshe Foundation will launch heavily in China. That every Chinese would like to be part of the game. We have a plan. We are executing within the laws of China. But the interesting is that we work inside the system for the change for the rest. China will lead the Keshe Foundation, the whole of the planet, into a new dimension and process. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, the Keshe Foundation will start working on one of what we call human brain-sized chips, which means up to now you have processing. Now we create a dimension with a chip with emotion. This process will start very soon. And then we'll market this because effects, in a way, is not a AI compared to what we are doing. AI is already obsolete. Originally, I built this one, this part of the system I wanted to introduce, but it was too early when we were in Valletta. The first brain chip was made, and it was made by the knowledge seekers. I just taught the way. Now we bring this in a size enough to fit into your mobile phone, fit enough to fit into your, what we call even the body structure, that it can be fed, it can be changed, it can be every changes for you as communication, the feeding, and the rest. So be ready to see the first actual human structure body chips in the very near future. We need this, has to be completed, and we are asking if you are into chip manufacturing, not selling chips, but you understand the process of chip manufacturing, controlling of the systems, magnetic field control. We'll ask you to join us to complete this process in the next few weeks, because we cannot create the spaceship systems without what you call human chips. Without chips, which has emotion, without the chips understand what is right and wrong, and without a chip which is made by us for our technology. Is there any questions? We'll try to answer, and we'll see where we go.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Well, we have a hand up here, and I always like to address the hands up first. So from Antonio, please go ahead.
Thank you, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. My question to do with the soul and the nervous system of the body. So the soul, my understanding, works through our nervous system in the body. Is that correct?
In a way, it uses our nervous system to transfer the energies, the emotion of the universal energies, yes.
I was reading some spiritual texts, and they talked about a gaseous, which hasn't, science of today hasn't detected this gaseous element that this works through the nervous system. But my understanding is that if you take, like coffee, alcohol, this affects the nervous system, and then affects the effectiveness of the soul to work through the body. Does that make sense?
You see, the neural system works on what I call magnetic fields of the energy system. The blood works on the magnetic field of matter system, if you understand the difference between the two.
Yeah. So
in that level, the neural systems, when we have, that's why we feel everything so fast, doesn't need the matter state of the nerve to connect. It needs the magnetic field of the nerve to connect. And when we get a cut, when our nerve gets cut and then we cannot reconnect it, it's nothing to do with the magnetic field connection. It's to do with the resistance that the nerve creates for not receiving that. What happened at the point of the cut of the nerve, the orientation of the cell changes. It becomes like a black hole. It becomes a graphene. But if you take that barrier off, there is no reason for you not to feel anything. And if we can bypass this, we can reconnect the nerves or reconnect the current flow of the nerves. We know this fully, we understand this fully because we replicated it, we are 100% correct. And in that process, when you cut a blood vessel, you can always connect the blood vessels and they'll start working. You can connect limbs, but you cannot connect sometimes the nerves of the limb, the sensation. And this is the reason.
Yeah.
And if you understand this, then do you call it the gaseous? Do you call it the magnetic field? Do you call it the chemical effect? But at the end of it, it comes to this work. I explained this once to one of the military people and understood fully. We can build a system that no radar can detect, not by creation of magnetic field, but by rotation of the fields, the orientation of it. And this is what happens. Our neurosystem has this capability, and it shows exactly that our life is magnetic field connections and not matter or gaseous or anything else connected. People don't understand this connection of magnetic field, they call it the gas, but it's the field.
Yeah.
We see this in reconnection of nerves. We've seen this in building of the brain cells. And some years ago, we put this to test to confirm it.
So does gas itself has a gravitational magnetic field?
Of course he has. But when you don't understand it, you call it a gas. But when you understand it, it's a magnetic field.
So okay. Yep.
You understand? This is the limitation of the man when he doesn't have the knowledge. So he has to go to the limit of his knowledge, which is a gas nobody can see. But now, as knowledge seekers, you understand more. You understand there's a connection of the field.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that in time, as we learn more, we understand that what you're saying is gravitational magnetic fields, and this is what we're dealing with. And I think that in time, with your teachings, of course, we begin to understand it more and more. We're waking up.
We're not waking up. We are actually in it, but we don't understand it. We are totally in it. We are fully in it. We understand it fully. But for those who are what we call still want to milk us for the money, as I call it, they play that game. And this game has been played very well, and men have been abused very well by it.
Thank you, Keshe. That's all. I did have a bit of trouble. You said with the becoming a member and stuff like that. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I only got to step 1 and then step 2. It wouldn't let
you
me.
have to just bear with us. There's a lot of things getting ironed out. We realized that's why I said we put the ONNs out early and the registration. We are learning a lot of things needs to be redone, connected, and new sections has to be made up. And that's why you are there. Hopefully within the next month or so, when all the things are sorted, then you can smooth sail through A to Z in Morocco. It's not your problem, it's our problem, but you're telling us where the problem is. That's our job to find out how to smooth it out. Some part of the situation is very complicated, even for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to log on to Mark Ray Corporation, the market website, and it wouldn't allow me. So I thought, oh, maybe there's a problem there too.
A lot of things are getting redone. A lot of things are getting sorted. We have to do a lot of work, and it's not going to be easy in the next few 2 or 3 months till suddenly this thing has given birth in totality with everything else. And what we call the creation of what we call the Space City, which is spreading across China, is another challenge for us.
Yeah.
And we try to take you within the structure of the Keshe Foundation when it's set up, that we don't feed our what we call the enemies what they stopped us up to now. And once
is there other countries open to, like China, that are willing to take this technology on board, or is it just China as the main?
But the thing is, Keshe Foundation has to consolidate. As you notice, we operate in Africa, we operate in Mexico, in America, in Europe, and everything else. Everything is getting shut down, all concentrated directly into China. And then China, because there is a lot of things to do with China. Anything, knowledge seekers have to understand. We wanted to make gases. We needed to set up a factory up to start gas factories. Whenever we start looking for quantity, it goes to China. When we wanted to do something else, we wanted the raw material, it was China. So it happened to us in Sierra Leone. I was in the university, and we wanted copper to make even CO2. Country which export copper, we had to go into the market to see if we can find copper. You understand?
Yeah.
The reason I chose China was for this reason, that it's the center of resources. Our team wants anything, is there. We don't need to go to the America to find, we don't need to go to European country. We just look within China, everything is there. And now we set China as the center of operation. From China, we go out. Put it this way: how many millions we spend in the United States? How many millions we lost in Mexico? How much money we lost in Ghana? How much money we lost in other countries? This time is all concentrated. Everything is on top. Management team is on top. We observe and monitor everything, and we're seeing how it's turning. It'll take usually a year for a company to actually kick off to start. And we are coming to our 1 year. The number of researchers, the number of technologies are getting completed. We need another 3 months, 4 months. And then the system by January should start becoming a self-sufficient through the combination of the Chinese structure. You got to understand, if you want to sell let's say, a bottle of water in America, you see the problem. A number of people will use and everything else. In China, we have 1.4 billion. We want to test this, test it. You understand?
Yeah.
This is why we chose China. We concentrate in China. It's not without a problem. We are there to solve the problem. But it's not that we took everything to China, because China at this moment of time is center of everything we need to bring a rapid expansion, and we have the population to raise through their operation the funds needed for further research development, and then we go to what we call Barclay, and the same team which is running Chinese operation moves to run Barclay, all being preset.
Mm-hmm.
So we carry on the same thing.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps we can move into the Q&A questions here. We have a number of questions from Paulo. I'll start out with the first one here. He says, part of my question regarding the coin, which is, he calls it counterinsurgency, C-O-I-N, counterinsurgency. So he says, he uses the word coin. Conundrum was left unaddressed, or perhaps went unread last week. I had also cited the coin conundrum in reference to Sunni Arab countries whose leaders lack sufficient legitimacy regarding their people's social demands. Following up on this point, I ask, isn't the new Sunni NATO essentially a response by these leaders to potential insurgents, specifically in light of the backing those insurgents might receive from Iranian military might, which has compromised these nations' border security and consequently the stability needed for their socio-economic development?
Well, we have an insurgency called EU Christians. There's no problem with it. We see them financing Ukraine. We see them financing the wars in Middle East and Africa. Now you call it Sunni insurgents. What about the Catholic insurgents? As ex-president, what you call it, French government said, EU is a Catholic club. How much murders have been done by the Catholic insurgency? Let them try Sunni, maybe we find peace. This is the way you're brainwashed. How many terrorist activities has done in Ukraine? How many people have died in the past week by the European insurgency of feeding and loading and arming Ukraine? But with another Christian country, they haven't touched Muslims or anybody else, called Russia. Look at your own pocket, you find out there's more to blame. This is the way they make you to look, the Sunnis or Shias. No one has done more murder in the insurgency of Catholic in the name of EU. Italy, France, Germany, United Kingdom, Holland, all gathered together to lay an attack on a school, killing 186 girls in the classroom below age of 12 or 14. That's the insurgency. Fruitless of the Catholic insurgency. Talk about Sunnis. No, they haven't done anything. You brainwash, or you brainwash yourself. The truth is somewhere else. Any other questions?
Okay, here's a second question from Paulo. Says, could the oxygen found on Earth represent a local manifestation of a deeper isotopic or subatomic characteristic that also exists in a different form in matter throughout other celestial environments? Could there be...
Yeah, carry on.
Could there be a fundamental common denominator, perhaps related to isotopic or subatomic structure, connecting oxygen on Earth with matter in environments where molecular oxygen is absent? And if such a common denominator existed, could it have any relationship with the phenomenon we interpret as gravity?
In the world of man and in the matter state world of man, you have electrons, protons, and then how many electrons and how many protons and how many neutrons gives you the atom. And if the balance in the center changes but the electrons are the same, you call it isotopes. In the world of energy and the plasma, which what we call the world of creation, you can categorize bandwidths. in a way. This is how I do it, how it's done more or less universally. You go, for example, from 1 to 2 Tesla is magnetic field that much. 1 to 2 Tesla gravitational field is that much. This is the spectrum of field. So we call it group 1. Then anything falls in that group 1, which could be hundreds of millions of different field, the strength of the gravitational magnetical, they become isotopes of that group. So when you have hydrogen, we say, okay, hydrogen falls within group 1. In matter state, you have maybe 4 isotopes, 6 isotopes of it, or 10 isotopes of it. In the energy level, you have millions of isotopes of it. Because you measure by the number of the protons or electrons plus additional neutrons. We measure by standard, what we call field strength of the gravity, in respect to the magnetical, and we make a new chart. Then you can see combination between 1 and 2 is not 1.1, is 1.1, and then 1.2221, 1222. Then you see the spectrum of the energy within the field. We call it group 1 and then group 2, and you find out this, what we call a scale of measurement, will become a standard when Keshe Foundation works. This is well designed, but it's planned, because then we would like to reach gravitational magnetic field of the Earth, but at magnetical field 10,000 kilometers away from the Earth. We create the gravitational field of the Earth, but magnetically we position it. Now we want to come 100 kilometers. We keep the gravity, but we change the field strength. Now I want to move from the Earth to the middle of the space between Earth and the Moon. I keep magnetical, but I change the gravitational, but I'm still in that spectrum of the 1. And this is how, in the future, we travel. We measure 1, for example, center of galaxy, magnetic field is 100. But we want to go to the central universe, is 1,000. But we change the gravity to move from Earth to the center of the galaxy, or we change it and we don't want to go to the center, we want to go to the center of the universe. We keep the position of magnetic field though, we change. This is how we create braking system in transportation when we transport huge spaceships. You see a spaceship 6, 10, 100,000 kilometers diameter. There is no factory people sitting there making it. It's done by positioning of the field. Read the pattern, is already in pattern, how to make walls and structures from using the field. Then you understand, we work with the same isotope, which is a gravitational base, or we work on an isotope magnetically based. And then you have a full spectrum. It's not the isotopes the way you talk about. It's a bandwidth field strength in magnetic field. And then we introduce what is known as a plasma measurement, which is unknown to the world of present knowledge, because the band field, the strength of the plasma is different for a matter state condition, like the soul of the man. Soul of the man does not work on the size of the universe, but as it progresses to become part of the universe, it gives and takes and releases energies which is inside it is capsulated. This is how your soul finds its position in the universe and becomes mother of a star, the center of a star. This is teaching far beyond man's understanding at the moment. So when you speak about the hydrogen isotopes, you speak in the matter state, you have a few isotopes. We speak about energy within the bracket of the hydrogen, which is how much is the energy of an electron and a proton, the distance, what is the maximum distance before the electron releases itself from the proton, that each one becomes separate plasma. What we call the spectrum is destroyed. So we say from the closest to the furthest, how much field they give and take. This is the spectrum of the hydrogen. And then we add energies to it from the magnetically, gravitationally, till the two cannot be. That's how your soul and the spirit separates. Then there's what you call the spirit of the man changes position to be the center by the soul, and the separation of the body is the same. It's the spectrum of the release of the soul from this planet. It's very well defined. One day I release this knowledge. You can see what energy is there, and you can see what's the position of the death of a man. And if you can create the fields, sustain the connection, you can live for thousands of years. It's a lot to. The teaching will not finish. There's a lot for you to learn. Any other question?
Thank you for that. We have a hand up here with Dimitri. Would you like to go ahead next, please?
Hello.
Thank you, Rick.
Can you
hear me?
Can you repeat again? I lost you. I lost you for a few seconds.
Oh,
Hello?
we have a hand up here with
Can you hear me?
Dimitri, Mr. Keshe. So, yes, we can hear you, Dimitri.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Good morning, Rick. Good morning, knowledge seekers. My question is with regards to the nervous system, from what I picked up over the last couple of weeks of what I was able to attend anyway. The nervous system being a pivotal point between matter state physicality existence.
Can you hold on? Hello, can you hold on a second? I have a problem with reception. Let me change my servers.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Just
Are you okay there now, Mr. Keshe?
Good.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, I cannot change server. Something's wrong with my system. Okay, carry on. I just hear in pieces.
Okay.
Carry on.
Thank you. So, the nervous system being, from what I've understood, the nervous system being a pivotal point between matter state physical manifestation of existence of a soul within that magnetosphere, and the plasmatic existence, everything else. The nervous system is a pivotal point between the existence in matter state blue planet Earth and everything else. Is that correct?
Depends what you want to pinpoint it or pivot it to.
What it's going in the direction of is when transmutation of the physicality from one country to another happens through interaction of universal central energy. What's happening to the matter state nervous system when that transmutation occurs?
Not much. It's just that the energy bandwidth changes, and how we interact with the inertia and gravitational field point of the Earth. In a way, if you look at it, when you have a oscillator and you change slightly to move up and down, the inertia is that adjustment in oscillation between the soul of the man and this what we call the spirit, the soul of physicality of the man, which affects the neurosystem, the way our neurosystem works on and operates on them. And this is what we need to understand.
That oscillation, how does that link to the universal heartbeat? Is it can you what's the word? Is there a ratio to them, linking them? between the oscillation and universal heartbeat, or even matter state heartbeat. And all three of them would be connected with their nut. Has Mr. Keshe dropped out, or is my phone not working?
I think he's having
Okay,
trouble.
fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. We're not able to hear you. Perhaps he's giving the answer in the soul state. We have
As
to
always.
listen to our inner voice. Well, bear with us a minute here while Mr. Keshe figures out his audio. Still waiting here. Let's see, Mr. Keshe is, he'll be coming back in. He's left temporarily, so bear with us. This is where I guess you're supposed to play a musical interlude. Dimitri, can you sing?
Not this morning. I was going through my head what video is Rick going to put on, but I'm looking forward to whatever it is, unless of course you feel like chirping up.
Mark suggests another coin video. Perhaps that's a good idea. Oh, wait a minute.
Sorry about that. I had to move servers. Can you repeat the question, please?
Coming through clear now, so let's get back to it.
Okay, thank
go
you.
ahead, Dimitri.
So the oscillation that you spoke about, could you just go over that one more time, please?
What do you mean? Which part of it you don't understand?
The oscillation between the soul of the man and I don't know. My question was with regards to the nervous system and what happens to the matter state nervous system when transmutation of the physicality from one country to the other. What happens to the nervous system then? And
nothing. It's just we.
No, but you said something about oscillation. What was that?
Yes. You
so
see,
that oscillation, yeah, the frequency of that oscillation is that. Does it have a direct correlation to universal heartbeat?
Yeah, you see, our emotion is inertia connected as part of it. Earth gravitational magnetic field from its center doesn't change much in the proximity of where we are in respect to the center of the Earth gravitational magnetic field. But the inertia has a very direct effect on our neurosystem and our emotion. And partially, it's part of it, not all of it, is that if you move from the, let's say, 1,000 meters above sea level, you call it, in Asia, you don't have the same emotional behavior oscillation as your 1,000 meter in South America. The reason is that the composition of the inertia of the material you walk on, the environment which creates the material you live in within, is different. Is part of that range of the spectrum of the fields of in Asia creates, let's say, very romantic. In South America brings very aggressive. And this is how it interacts with your soul, how it interacts with your neurosystem, and how we will live within that oscillation of the fields of the inertia and our neurosystem. And if you bring somebody who lives, for example, in 1,000 meter in Asia to South America, oh, he's God, because he's so calm, he's so lovable, where everybody is there, aggression. And then when we bring the same people there, we say, "Oh, look, they're outsiders. They don't behave like us." It's a very typical English European language, because we are the best, and everybody has to behave like us. Otherwise, everybody is out. But as a European, we kill more than anybody else, but we are very gentle in killing. And this is the process. So the oscillation of the inertia is more important on the behavior of the man than actually anything else in how we feel. And then you have the food additive, because the food we eat has its own inertial effect, and the air breathe, it brings a different direction, oscillation. It's a very much composite, and that, what does it affect your neurosystem? This is something I've been studying for a long time. If you get people who live in a bungalow, in a ground level building, in the same city, more or less in the same environment, they have a different behavior with people who live on the 10th floor, 15th floor, or 20th floor within a concrete. And even what is interesting, there's a studies going on how people, for example, on the 20th floor all behave in a city than the people who live on the 10th floor. There are some studies going on, and what we see it because it's how far you are and how many concrete levels are separating you from the inertia of the planet, or you're constant with the inertia of the concrete you walk on. One of the worst things you can have in the house is this fantastic, most advanced underfloor heating. Tell you why. You find people with the underfloor heating with the more neural instability than the people who live with the radiators in the wintertime. And nobody has ever studied what's the effect of the underfloor heating than those who have the radiators, but we see a lot of it. People with underfloor heating in their housing are more unstable during the winter. Never rely on them, because there's a continuous flow of liquid in the place which continuously changes the environment of the inertia. We see this in the houses which the river goes under. You've got brooks under the houses. You have river channels going under the houses. They're the most unstable condition, especially for men. You compare men in the houses with the underground heating, underfloor heating, and the men who live in the house with the radiators on the wall. That's how much the inertia, dynamic inertia, affect us. This is why, if you go back on the teaching some times ago, I said if you live, especially on a hill, if you live on a hillside, make sure you have infinity loop, nano-coated or a copper under your bed, under your carpet, around the house. Because for sure, waters on top of the hill are running to go down the hill to bring those springs and the waters, which later on becomes your underground reservoirs. If that flow of the water underneath of the house creates mayhem with the men, then imagine what does the underfloor heating does to men and women. If it's hard for you to understand, you get a woman to sit on the cold floor. What's the reaction? Immediately they have to go to the toilet. You get most of the men to do the dishwashing with the cold water. What is the most frequent reaction? I have to go to the toilet. We don't connect it to it, but it's actually what it does. It creates a flow which affects the man different way. So take back into the world of inertia. You have a dynamic inertia. You have unstable behavior, interacts with the neural system, interacts with the emotion, then you have to show it. You have stable people till you put them in their apartments with underfloor heating. Instability. There is long-term studies, the divorce rates and the problems in the society of the people who live in high-rise flats where there is so much criminality. It's instability with the boys. Why did the crime increases when we put everybody in these high-rise flats? And why is the crime always with the men? Men do most of the crime. Because of the instability. We give them on the ground floor heating, we make it worse. You're lucky you're not living in 19th century. If you were in England and you lived in 19th century, it would have been worse. They had different rules, there is a rule, a funny rule now still applies, it's still part of the law. Even part of the United States carries this law in their structure, is that you're not allowed to beat your wife between 10 o'clock at night and 7 o'clock in the morning. It's in the law, it's in the Constitution of the United Kingdom. And it's again in some countries. Why? Because neighbors could not sleep because their husbands are beating their wives up. It's a law. You cannot beat your wife between 10 o'clock at night and 7 o'clock in the morning. The rest of the day, you are free to do what you like. 19th century rule. Why did we bring this? Because it bothered the other. It's the same with the water. It affects us. Emotions, sounds, dimension of the inertia affects our neural system. But we make different understanding of it and we react different to it. Inertia affects. Nothing affects the emotion of the man than inertia on this planet. You go.
What?
Carry on.
Why does it affect male more than it does female when inertia has changed, especially both?
Different things. Different things. You see, the inertia comes with a smell. A smell is a kind of inertia. Inertia comes with what we call change of hormone. Hormones are inertia-based material, totally. Our heart creates more inertia than anything else, composite inertia. The position of the height and the figure of a woman affects the inertia of the emotion. There's a lot of things. It's not just something you can say what makes the difference between man and woman. It's just, if you look at it from everything from an energy point of view, you understand why. The world of science has made a lot of lies and a lot of simplifying the reality to fit in that they can sell the knowledge. What is a hormone? If you look in vitamins, vitamin D is a hormone, it's not a vitamin. Why have we accepted it? Because if you accept vitamin D, which affects vitamin K, that's why you always take a D with K2. K is more or less a matter state energy when it attaches itself with a hormone, which is D. Vitamin D is not a vitamin, never been. how they got it into vitamin direction, but it's a hormone, so it creates a specific energy dimension. And it brings certain behavior, because hormones are energy pack affect the neurosystem directly, where vitamins are part of the mineral side that are connected to the soul and the spirit. When you listen to the hormones, when you listen to the vitamins all affect the physicality. Hormones affect the soul, estrogen, and the rest of it. Why does it do that? You create child because you don't create the environmental energy for it. Our sciences have been taught the wrong way to us, and we accept it because some, what I call idiot in the middle, had to get a name for himself. If you divide everything into energy and a matter state, what carries matter state affects emotion, because it's inertia connected to the neurosystem. What is the energy side comes through the neurosystem, which is the hormones. And then you put together, you see what you get. Dimension of physicality, aggression, love, cuddle, whatever. And women are receptive to a deeper, stronger field. Men are affected by the softer field, which everybody thinks is the opposite way. Then the softness in that emotion has to have a counterbalance, which brings the man to look strong because inside they're putty. And then women look soft inside, but they're harshest. If you look back history of the man, biggest murders done by women than men. Men are nail cutting of women, what they've done in the world of the wars and whatever. But it's the same. We compromise one into the other. And it's the energy, and it's all inertia. And then comes into what you eat and what inertia you produce, which affects your neurosystem through the energy balance. You look at it, how they feed you zinc. What does zinc does? It's a mineral, but the counterbalance of the energy, it brings relaxation of nerves. It makes you calm, which is the energy matter. It's not a, it's not a physical, doesn't make you strong, doesn't make you a bodybuilder. Whatever you put in inertia, you get a counterbalance in energy as an emotion or the manifestation of the hormones.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
I think that segues into Andrew's question in YouTube, who says, morning, Rick. So we bring cancer to our body because of our emotions. Why do we do it? 36 years old and leave a beautiful family behind. Why are emotions strong enough for us to heal and stay with this family? Thanks.
First of all, when you get the cancers, you have to understand immediately, is it the cancer of emotion? Is it cancer of psychosomatic? Is it the cancer of evolution? When you hear young people cannot be cured, it's a cycle of, most of it's evolutionary cancer. Psychosomatic cancers, which comes in the 50s and 60s and 70s, is mainly emotional. Early cancers has a combination of the evolution and psychosomatic. And up to today, there is no cure. I always say, a lot of people come to us and say, I have a cancer. We have to understand if it's an evolutionary cancer, if it's a psychosomatic cancer, or is it accidental cancer? A lot of young generation cancers is accidental cancer. Look, where did they get hit? We play sports, we do stupid things nowadays when we are young, And so you damage the skin can be damaged, but internal damage cannot be done. Look at cancers nowadays. It's not just, okay, that's why we see some people die young, some people come suddenly up with different cancers. We've seen it. The effect of it is so, even you look at the ILS is psychosomatic and appears within 5 years, 7 years. You get hit, we play intense games, we do stupid things nowadays for sports to be macho, and we forget about the injuries. Go look what got hit 10 years ago. And then look at, I want to be a sportsman, but my family has all been timid, hiding in the caves. So I want to go through the evolution, my body doesn't accept, it creates its own cancer. If the world of science, when somebody comes in with cancer, sit down and analyze it, spend 1 hour with them, go back deep, not in what I'm going to give you chemotherapy, you have this, then they can analyze. Is it the evolutionary? If it's a psychosomatic, if it's an accident, and where you can do it, and how we can change it, it will be changed. I presume with the AI coming up, and somebody sits up, come up with a structure very easily within a few minutes, then doctors know how to handle it and what's the reason for it. Accidental cancers needs a different way of treating. And it can be very rapid, or you can change the environment. The psychosomatic cancers are different. Then you have to find the frequency of the psychology of behind it, which is done. And then the what we call genetic, where it goes with our, what we call history of life. Evolution, that's the hardest to do. 20% of the cancers cannot be cured, cannot be found a solution, because it's mainly evolution. It's taken thousands of years to be here. It's not just yesterday that the cancer shows today. We see specific cancers to the specific food. As I said before, inertia of the material. We don't see it outside. Certain cancers comes from environment where we live. In Iran, we have a specific cancer, and it's very rare to the rest of the world. It's known as part of the stomach cancer, but okay, you have a stomach cancer, but what kind it is? In Iran, we are very connected to what we call walnut. And walnut as a food is part of the national diet. We make all sorts of things for it. It's not just like a fruit. We make dishes with it. The problem is that the walnut picked up in the autumn, it stays in empty sacks. Some of it gets fungus on it. You see this, what they call like a spider web on it. They clean it and that's it. It's gone, but it hasn't gone. That old spider web on the walnut creates a specific cancer, and that specific cancer affects, because of the diet of Iranians, only the stomach of the Iranians. Food cancer connected to one nation, to one specific food, specific fruit. In Iran, they die. You die from stomach cancer or intestine cancer, different reason in Europe. But in Iran, 90% of the stomach cancer connects to one food, one item, which is a walnut. But we all die of stomach cancer. We have to analyze, we have to become knowledgeable in what is, but doctors nowadays don't have time, they just have to satisfy their pharmaceutical. In our research, in the Space City, this week, we are facing a very detailed research in agriculture, and I put them into tenders to find out, but they don't know how they have this problem. They're giving me all the reasons, everything, what went wrong because of the weather, the season, it's been the whole area and the rest of it. And I keep on saying, explain more. And I even give them a hint, but they don't see it. that we specifically created this condition, or specifically to explore part of the science that there's no knowledge in the science of the man today. One day I explain. Creation of condition of the environment. And seeing how the environment uses it to its own way to create conditional manipulation as a cancer. It's one of the current researchers in one of the Space City programs. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. Let me see here. We have a question from Elizabeth. Thank you for all your work. Mr. Keshe, if a government does not sign the peace treaty, can it donate the Keshe coins to another nation or to the Keshe Foundation?
No, we keep it in national reserve till the government changes. We had this, we already made the decision. We can't change your national assets, some of the sovereign assets.
So the government can't participate in the Keshe coin program at all unless they sign the peace treaty?
Oh, yes, and then we keep, if you are a national of that country, which your nation does not commit itself to peace, we keep it in your national reserve. Belongs to your nation. What it says in our reserve is your national sovereign asset. We are not robbing your bank. One day they will, and the assets will be transferred. We offer the money to your government, even though as first recipients. If they don't take it, they don't respond, it goes into your national sovereign asset. It's your nation's. If they don't join another 50 years, you can imagine how much money the money say, oh, look how much money we have, we better change our policy because we get a lot of money.
The pressure will increase every year.
Greed.
Yes. The greed will get the best of them.
With this Keshe coin, I have looked at every way to cover as much as possible. Yeah, we don't touch your national. We don't touch your sovereign asset. It's the same as your reserve gold. You see what happened past couple of weeks. Japan is the strongest buyer of American promissory notes, over 1 trillion. It's the biggest holder of American assets. And yen has gone into a nosedive. If you check how much is the yen today, 2 weeks ago, yen, they knew it was going to take a dive on Friday afternoon. They didn't sell the assets of the nation. They got the Americans to buy Japanese yen, 50 billion, to support it out. But they will not sell the national asset. Americans held to the yen, but in American dollar convert, but the Japanese kept the, out of the fear of literally destroying dollars, American bought 50 billion yuan, Japanese money. It's a national asset, you don't change it. You don't touch it. I'm not going to rob your central bank.
Okay, a question from Hong, who says, hello, Mr. Keshe, thanks so much for your amazing teaching. My question is it possible to develop a device that can track in real time where a person's soul travels in the universe and what it does while they are asleep?
Yes and no. You don't have the tools beyond this atmosphere, and even on this planet, you don't have a right tool to track anything. But at that time, yes, it can be done. And there are more and more technologies to trace where the soul goes on this planet. It's becoming more and more common. At the moment, it's in the hand of scientists, research section. But yes, it can be done. It's not something which is in the future already is done. Russian scientists are very advanced in this.
Okay. Back to Paulo, who has another question about the Earth's center. It says, Professor Keshe, according to the conventional model, the gravitational field becomes zero at the exact center of the Earth because the gravitational contributions from all directions cancel vectorially.
Who says that? What a nonsense. What a nonsense.
Conventional model, he says.
Yeah.
While the gravitational potential remains non-zero. Do you consider this explanation physically complete, or could the apparent cancellation of the gravitational field at the center indicate that our conventional understanding of gravity is incomplete?
Stand at the traffic light and look the way the cars come and look on the other way where the cars go. Do the car disappear when you're right in front of you? Simple answer I can give you. This is the people who don't understand the world of creation. Gravity is what I call, it's like a ball, circular ball. It's like a donut. Everything comes in it and it goes out of it. Depends on the point of observer. If you tell me it's zero at the center, and you haven't understood it's a continuous of the center happened to be there, put yourself here at the center at a traffic light and look at the cars coming and going. A car is coming from the left, you see it, and then disappears to the right. Is it zero in front of you? No car exists in front of you? Or do they just jump and you don't see it? It's the same. This is a nonsense of scientists who never understood magnetic fields. There's no center of Earth zero. Yes.
So they're saying a cancellation would be like two cars going in opposite directions right in front of you and crashing into each other right in front of you. And that would be, zero. But they're actually continuing in opposite directions and dynamic. It's a dynamic situation, not a stationary cancellation.
It doesn't exist. There's always it's like when you have, when you're standing at the traffic light with some cars passing north to south and some going south to north, do they crash into each other? And is that point in the middle doesn't exist? There's a space gap between the magnetic fields. There's no way they can crash. Only crash in the matter state and their minds, which can only understand that kind of thing. You, as knowledge seekers, should have passed this point. Nonsense of science only stays in the brain of the man who's actually nonsense in the science. It does not exist. Such a thing doesn't exist and should never be asked by knowledge seekers at this stage, because we discussed this in detail. If you tell me they crash, you put, there's a beautiful situation in Austria. They tell you on Sundays, don't go out. I didn't know, I just learned it somewhere recently, but I heard it before, but I now understand. And what happened last week? Because I got stuck in the traffic jam because of it. They call it Sunday Ghost Riders. The people go into the motorway in the wrong direction. You know, you come out the motorway, say north to south, and then you go out at the junction. They come into the motorway in that junction, the opposite, for a head-on collision to die. They call them the Sunday Ghost Riders. And what happened last week in Austria? And that cannot happen in the world of if you have a car which works with the energy and the plasma, because they reject each other, they get distance from each other. Only happens in the matter state, and if the world was made of matter state, the center of the planet would have been a solid things full of crashes and everything else. Maybe that's why the planet is heated up, because too many cars crash in the center of the Earth. It doesn't happen. It doesn't. This is nonsense for people who don't understand and don't understand the difference between the world of matter and the energy, magnetic field, emotion. Any other question?
Doug has an earth question as well. Are the recent large earthquakes triggered as a reaction of the earth to the meteors hitting the atmosphere?
These things are planned thousands of years ago. It is the magma of the earth, which is the creator of all these earthquakes we have. It melts, it falls down underneath. We have a pancake, which is sitting on what I call a Coca-Cola. And then you want to stand there, let's say, a mouse on top of this pancake. Coca-Cola is dynamic. It always produces gases. And you have a pancake, which at the bottom, this gas keeps on eating into the pancake, and you want to give the mouse a steady and not sinking. It does. As the bottom goes, it folds in. Our earthquakes are planned over thousands of years, unless it's done by mining, nuclear tests, and other things which affects the vibration and position of the earth. And these have a specialist in it. If you seismic radiation due to the nuclear is it's a technology on its own, and our scientists trained for this job to measure, and then those create a specific earthquake wave, and then if they hit the what we call weak point, they can generate earthquakes and volcanic eruptions and disappear. There are a few scientists in the world that specialize in this, what we call nuclear seismology. One of them just been arrested by the Chinese in China. Chinese scientists educated at Beijing University, going to America, changing the passport to America, and then coming back for the American to measure the nuclear, what do you call it, seismology and testing of the Chinese. Then is arrested as part of, you hear about it more or less sooner or later. He is arrested as a nuclear seismologist, trying to find out for Americans, and it being a Chinese coming to see family in Beijing. He's now as part of the spy web of the Americans. Just being arrested very recently. Nuclear seismologist. Any other question?
Okay, so Antonio mentions that he received the cosmic ray love resin and gave one to a friend whose young boy has trouble sleeping. So far, the 2-year-old has become more active during the night and keeping the parents awake. Would it be better to remove the love happiness resin from his bedroom?
Assume so. These are made for adults. To give it to the children, what do you expect? These are amazing things. These resin products are amazing. Some of them do funny things. Get him a cat, get him a dog, and see what happens with that love. He wants to show love, so he's hyperactive with love. If you have one, cuddle one and see what happened to you.
Maybe they
The,
should put the love and happiness resin into the parents' bedroom, and that might end up
with
keeping
more brothers and sisters.
keeping things more quiet afterwards.
Yeah, it's possible. These the resin products from Keshe Foundation. At the moment, the store is closed. The still said maybe opens up next couple of weeks. They're amazing products in what they've been set to do. If you get your hand on it, people who had it, I had so many funny stories with this resin product. Any other question?
I had a question or request that you might explain a little more about this emotion of transportation, which is the first time I've heard that phrase, and it kind of struck me as something special. You mentioned detachment is part of that, and and you also mentioned independence as seems to be associated. And I associate this idea of freedom from gravity, or the idea of freedom in general as well, and the emotion of feeling free, of feeling like a skydiver must feel when he's, skydiving free of gravity in that sense, or someone that goes to space, or when we go to space in our dreams, or when we have flying dreams and we feel like we're free of gravity and all we have to do is wave our arms and we can float around and that kind of thing. Is that part of the emotion of transportation?
It's part of the transportation. And when you transmute, you transport. Once you transmute, you transport, because the physicality of the man becomes trapped in the energy of the soul. So when you transmute, you transport the physicality with you, soul of physicality with you, because there's dimensional matter state in it. It's very much, I explained this some time ago. You have a galaxy which is going hundreds of thousands of kilometers in the universe. And then you have a solar system, which is a mass inside this plasma of nothing. The galaxy becomes in what you call transmutation in a plasma. It is a condition of plasma. And the solar system, or that part, is in a matter state, so it's moving with it. So you have a transmutation of the solar system, but the actual galaxy is in transmutation because it moves as a plasma. It doesn't have a wall and restriction of the boundaries. If you look at a galaxy, it's in transmutation. If you look at the body of the man, it's in transportation. But we still are within the transmuted environment of the solar system and the galaxy. It's not a wish, but it's an emotion. With man, you can create and you can control your emotion. Man, once he learns how fully control emotional transportation and transmutation, becomes man of the universe. No age, no time. You have to. It's very easy. It puzzles me why sometimes knowledge seekers don't see it. What you do with the emotion of love, you transfer it into the physicality of lovemaking, you transfer it into the physicality of hugging, you transfer it into physicality of kissing. You transfer an energy and emotion into physicality, physical reaction. And we don't use that emotion to kick, to hit, to destroy. You use it in a positive way. And it's the same with this position of the transmutation, transportation. If you get the right emotion, instead of transferring into the physical dimension of kissing or cuddling or whatever, into the emotion of transferring the energy which is in the plasma condition. This is how you make the children of Mitra. This is how the child of Mitra was born. Not in the physical dimension, creating, transferring energy, emotion of love, or creating the next generation of man to be peaceful. And if you understand this, you can do a lot of things. Then always you carry transmutation within it with transportation, or you do the transportation like a body of the man with what we call transmutation, which is the soul of the man inside. It goes everywhere. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you. Let me see. We have a question from Claudia here in the webinar chat, who says, I have a question regarding the fundamental quality inherent in human physical biology and its connection to the plasma and the soul. Why are we physically structured with dual systems, such as arterial and venous blood, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, two lungs, and the two brain hemispheres? Is this physical duality encoded at the level of our RNA, or is it a direct physical reflection of the interaction between the fields of the soul and the soul of the physicality? Furthermore,
I'm lost.
Furthermore, what specific practice or mechanism of breathing allows us to achieve complete equilibrium between these two dual aspects of physical matter and our inner soul?
Do you know the word called binya? Scotty, I don't understand that position. You have to explain.
It's a doctor question.
Well, we have patience.
Are we patient enough to answer?
I have to understand.
So it's let me just start with one. Why are we physically structured with dual systems? Let's just leave it at that.
We didn't create a dual system. It's the work of the creation. And it's the point of transformation of energy to matter. Our matter is when the fields are reduced in strength, that they manifest themselves. And then how they interact, God knows. There is a new puzzle was given to one of these AIs to sort out. One was that if we consider everything, life of this planet was supposed to be 4.3 billion, now it's 13 billion, and now it'll be trillions very soon. How long will it take to create life on Earth the way we know it? And apparently AI came out with 10 to the power of 200, something like that, years it'll take to create everything going perfectly right, the body of human being. So two things has happened. Something has reached the 10 with 200 zeros in front of it, or something in between has brought life in a composition condition that everything got mixed up and then took the picture we have. But there's so many different lives in the universe that then the life of the universe is 10 to the power of maybe 400, that after times 200 has managed to create the first cell, that after 200, 10 times to 200, we are where we are as a human being, and the rest of the universe created. We are created but they're just phantoms. Even our bodies, we think, oh, we get hit by the car. In reality, in different dimensions, we are nothing. The car can go right through, but we carry on what we are doing. And we can do this. A time of huge field strength changes, we can become transparent. We can become translucent. It can be done. It's not something theoretical. One day I'll teach you how to do it. But is life what we see? Or what we see is an illusion of what fits into our perception of life? And we all agreed we perceive the same way because we carry the inertia of this planet. We perceive, we agreed, and we encoded in our structure what is green is grass, what it looks like we call it a tree, we call this a human, we call this a dog. So by imprinting in our soul, we have miraged acceptance of it. It's like one is a fool not to be shown a fool. It behaves like a fool. Oh, this is a cat, it's actually a carpet. And, oh, yeah, it's a cat. Doesn't matter, it's a carpet. Then we all agree this is a carpet. Have our genetically been accepted that way, and we created everything else, and we all agree with it. This is a very deep part of the science of creation. And it goes beyond ethics, it goes to the dimension of creation, understanding the whole of creation. Why have we created a specific gravitational magnetic field which becomes a plant? And we all agree this is called a plant, this is all green. And the plant decided to show itself that way, so we agreed with it that it's going to be. World of creation has its own dimension of manifestation and perception of the manifestation, the dimension of existence. And then if you go to the dimension of fields, you understand how things are. It's very simple. If we say we take 80% of what we need from our environment, where does that 80% energy comes from? And why does it come only to Earth? Why can't we absorb energy as strength that 80% which created that tree and that leaf is not created on the moon or the Mars? Because they get absorbed the same. So if you understand that part, the way your what you call blood vessels, blood flowing in your vein in interaction with the energy which absorbed from the universe, which then is transferred to control of your nerve system with your limbs, to your bones, your lungs, the cell of your liver, we absorb a specific field that from the universe, which is created as absorption by the gravitational field of the Earth in the center, that in the passing through we absorb it and we can convert it into our physicality. Then the same thing has happened to the plants and the trees. So the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth can absorb specific fields that in interaction with this magnetical field leads to manifestation of what we call the plants, the life on this planet. It's not coincidental. If gravitational magnetic field of the Earth changes slightly, there'll be no plants. We see this on the tree lines of the mountains. We see this on the levels of the ocean, how different fishes live in different depths, how different plants are created in different depths. And if you understand this, life cannot be coincidental. If you observe this, then the whole structure of life is totally different and has a different meaning. In a way, our planet Earth, it creates gravitational fields of a specific caliber that in interaction with this magnetical field and the field of the universe, which comes to feed the soul of the Earth, leads to the manifestation of life as the trees, plants, man, and the rest. And other planets don't create that magnetic field, gravitational field to pull, that their interaction creates the creation of the life on this planet. What it gives through its central position, gravitational field it creates, only observes a spectrum of fields from the universe can lead to the creation of life as we see it, which leads to the creation of plants, trees, man, and rest. And our scientists are in the business of finding neutrinos. That neutrino has already arrived and manifested in the tree, the cell of body of the man, and the rest. And as we say, our scientists are still trying to find it. It is there, and we see it every day without, because they haven't understood that so much fields of the earth has become us. We haven't suddenly grown out of the ground. They are looking for something which is they themselves. So as I say, you take as much as your intelligence tells you, and neutrinos is the manifestation of what I call American scientists, who more or less are always after something which is themselves, but they don't see it. If you're looking for a neutrino, look at the tree, look at your own body. That energy which came from the space has become you. You are that pot which they're trying to see. Your soul is that shining light which they're looking in the buckets for thousands of meters under the ground. They haven't understood. Ignorance is bliss, and they are blessed with ignorance. Any other question?
From Theodora, who says, is it written in our souls that we are destined to be travelers of the universe? The distortion we experience is an interference that surrounds our fractals. To inhabit the universe, we will occupy ourselves with cultivating the stars, gardens of solar systems, stellar seeds. Could this be our occupation? Is technology needed to do all this?
It is a self-centered question. And the reality is that collection of energies has made possible the creation of the soul of the man. And then the rest of it is created, so we do something with it. You know, you buy a seed, you bought it, you find it somewhere to plant it, you buy a pot for it, or you already had a pot in the house, or you know which part of the garden you're going to seed it. And the soul of the man is that seed. It's created, is where to be planted by his destiny or by his field. So the rest is hypothetical. We are accident of time with love, and we are creators of life by destiny, and that's how we are. We are totally created by accident, from the love of a man and a woman, or a love of a plant to give to another, or a lion to another lion, or whatever. And then the child is a manifestation of physicality of that love, and it can be anywhere. We create children from China to South Africa, and their destiny is where we set them, because we decided we have a child, and they're going to be there, it's going to go to university, it's going to be this, and it's going to be that, and it's going to be, if you're Iranian, 100% you become a doctor or an accountant. And so you can see we plan even the destiny of what the seed will be. There is nothing, no difference between man, the soul of the man, and the process of creation. The only thing is, man has added into this the emotion of love, which soul of the man is unique in that respect. Any other question? Or shall we call it a day?
Sure. We have a comment from Cristiano here. Says, "Good morning, Mr. Keshe. I've been practicing the breathing exercises and have achieved incredible results in providing immediate relief from pain in my body. Thank you very much for sharing this valuable knowledge."
You're welcome. Try to see if you can do that with your soul. Try to breathe with this, not the lung of the man, but with the energy of the universe. See what you can take, what you can release, how you can hold. And then you go into the dimension of transmutation. You don't need to use the breathing. Thank you very much.
Okay. I was going to say, we had a question from Richard about not being able to, having a cold, not being able to breathe through the nose. Do you have any tips for making it easier to breathe? And can you still practice transmutation? I think you answered that before once, that you can still practice transmutation, yes.
Yes, you can, but you have to learn stop breathing, how to absorb energy. That's what you do. You don't need the mouth, you don't need the nose. It's very funny. I said, if you look at the real aliens, have you seen their nose and the nostrils being open? No, it's locked. Everything is closed because they don't need to breathe. Absorbing energy is it's an art. And if you can do that, then you can transmute much easier. Thank you very much for today. Hopefully, we'll be here next week. I try to share some more knowledge, but as I usually say, if you understand today's teaching, you moved somehow you're taking a very deep step in knowledge of the transmutation. Thank you very much and see you next week.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you once again for another Knowledge Seekers Workshop number 655 in a continuous weekly broadcast here. And we thank you very much for your participation for the last 12 years or whatever it's been at this point. Thank you, everybody, for attending today's workshop on Thursday, August 13th. And as Mr. Keshe said, we should be back again next week, same time and place, but different. And we have a workshop coming up on Tuesday with One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. That'll be on Tuesday, the 18th of August. And that'll be starting at the 4 p.m. Central European Summer Time with the members and support members of the Universal Council who put on that presentation. Again, that's Tuesday, the 18th at 4 p.m. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. I think I might have a special message here. Let me see. Yes, from Lissy. I have I can find it on my desktop. Just bear with me a minute here. I have the message from the Universal Council. Speaking of the Universal Council, and I see Lizzie has her hand up here, and just let me share the thing that we would like to have here, which
Thank you.
Go ahead, Lizzie. Thanks.
Beautiful souls, because we are the soul of the peace. Thank you for your support to the Keshe Foundation and the beautiful work to Mr. Keshe and the universal support now. Thank you, and invite all the time and give freely your soul to support the work with the Universal Council, to support to the all beings present in the earth. and invite daily 9 p.m. Central Europa summertime for give from our souls and invite all to the humanity to elevate the soul of every leader in every nation, every leader in every community to work as one soul in one direction to achieve peace as one nation, one planet, one race. At the same time, we invite all communities to ask your soul, it's time for your service to your community, and please you subscribe, you write to the Keshe Foundation info at keshefoundation.org to offer to your soul to serve in the community to Universal Council because we need support the One Nation Network. We need support the work across the planet. And at the same time, need more people the support to Universal Council. And at the same time, we offer you our soul to give you you problems, your needs from your community to Universal Council. Now I invite to you, please give you praise, give you beautiful energy to support in that moment the Colombian people because actually it's terrible time. It break in the last Monday, it quarter. I don't know some correct word, but it's terrible time to our community and it's not better time for my city too because it's around my city when my family and my friends living and it's not better time now. And thank you so much. Thank you, Rick, for your opportunity.
All right, thank you, Lissy. All right, that brings to a close today's Knowledge Seekers Workshop. So again, thank you everyone for attending, and we'll see you in the next public teaching. Perhaps we'll go out with our usual manner with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, and bye for now.